If you watch my films regularly, then you'll know that much like the eponymous Toad, I'm just as keen on fast vintage motorcars and steam engines as I am flying machines. I've owned the Vauxhall for over 20 years, but before that my first vintage project was a Morgan three-wheeler. Based on the remains of a 1927 car, I built it up as an aero, complete with a Blackburn Tomtit aero engine of 700cc. It was exceedingly light and indecently fast, but unfortunately I sold it many years ago after a particularly bad attack of postnatal poverty. I've still got a hankering for a cycle car, very much along the lines of a GN. Like the Morgan, it has shaft drive to a bevel gearbox, and then several sets of chains and sprockets engaged by dog clutches to give different gear ratios. To this end I've been collecting parts for years. A pair of Model T Ford chassis legs, lots of Austin 7 hubs and wheels. It could be powered by an Aeronca Jap, a Praga B, or even a Pete and Pole Ford. A Fraser Nash bevel box could take the drive to the back axle. It could be clothed in a body with an outrageously pointed tail, and if the yokels couldn't hear it coming down the lane, then a warning device. This photograph of Mr. Cushman trialling his GN gave me an idea for some Saturday afternoon shop art. I put all the bits of the cycle car project away again now, except for the front cowl and the headlight. This front cowl is actually off an Austin 7. It's off an Austin 7 box saloon. And what I did was I cut the bit out the middle here that had the radiator badge, it had the Austin wing script, and narrowed the bottom end the same amount, and it makes quite a nice cowling. It's still got bits of chrome on it and the brass is showing through below, and because the style would be a little bit rat rod, I suppose it doesn't matter in the least. Rather than squirreling this away in boxes for ages, I'm going to make this into a sort of usable surround or usable cowl by screwing these two pieces together, simply by putting 4 holes in it, a couple of pieces of wood behind and 4 screws. I'm then going to screw it on the wall on one of these bays in the shed. I'm going to make a bracket for the headlight. I've already got some perforated steel strip for that, and bolt the headlight in front of it, and it'll sort of look like the front of a GN, and it might inspire me to doing some work. I don't really like hiding everything away in boxes for years on end. It's all quite nice stuff to look at. There we go. I know I speeded it up by not very much though, and that was just a little over 5 minutes. So let's get some steel and make the bracket for the headlight. I got this headlight from a fellow member of the Vintage Sports Car Club, a dear old chap who lives in Truro. It's a Lucas, King of the Road, or as those who know Lucas Electrics better, Prince of Darkness is a more apt description. Anyway, it had a extension piece on it, but the thread on that is absolutely knackered, if you can see it there. I ran a die nut down it, but it was horrible. Then I realised actually it would unscrew. It hadn't been unscrewed for years, but it did eventually come loose. So I've cleaned the nut up with a tap, this thread with a die nut, and he said, being all fingers and thumbs, on it goes. So that's quite a nice light. I like this fluted glass. I've got the same on the Vauxhall lights actually, and it tends to spread the beam sideways. It's probably not the best beam, but it certainly widens the beam quite well. In fact, the Vauxhall headlights have got modern bulbs in, and they're pretty good. The dynamo can't quite keep up, but that doesn't matter. Don't go that far in it at night. With the grille flat on the bench, put the headlight like that. You'll see on the back of the headlight it's got this rather nice arrangement for the flex. I don't want to undo any of that because I'm just only going to lose it. So let's see how deep the bracket needs to be. Let's turn the ruler up the right way. That would help, wouldn't it? Well, if I put the whole 5.5 inches from the wall, then that'll work a treat. I found this piece of galvanized coated stuff with lots of holes in the other workshop, so actually 5.5 inches actually puts me right next to a hole there. So if I come forward a bit, then the hole can be there. It needs to be a 1/2 inch hole, and I can cut the thing off, well, around there I suppose. That'll do. Well, that's on the wall for a bit of inspiration. It looks like I've taken a minion hostage, but that's the sort of look I wanted. If I do ever go ahead and build a cycle car, it'll have that sort of front end. Anyway, must get the Aeronca C2 finished first. That was a bit of fun just for this afternoon. The bench is nice and clear. Next thing's to get on with the firewall. As always, thanks for watching.